Today we are welcoming Krishna Barot. She is an interior architect with a deep passion for transforming spaces and a fervent enthusiasm for integrating cutting-edge technology into the realm of design. She is working in industrial design area, but also very interested in AI studies, integrating the AI in our design processes. So I won't take this introduction so long, but I want to pass the mic to the Krishna to better clarify herself what we are going to today do and about her background. I think we will have like the first brief presentation of how ComfyUI looks and how we can use it and where we can use it. Then try to adapt our systems by initiating the workshop session. So Krishna, thank you for just attending the Umai family. We would like to welcome you. So you can begin, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I would also like to welcome everyone. I'm excited, as Celine explained, that I'm an AI enthusiast. And since 2022, I tried to follow the industry trend through social media, through some blog posts, and I was always trying to understand. Of course, initially I got fascinated by, just typing words and then you get image out of it. But slowly I try to understand and question that how, because I am a believer that we are in hundreds of years old industry. And if we want to bring something up, we cannot like bring a model, and something innovate out of it. It's just we could evolve, adopt the technology, and just create a better use cases to work more efficiently. I am an interior architect, Indian, based in UAE for over 15 years. And since 2016, I have my own design studio. Where I have a good small company, but then, like every designer has their own signature style. And I was always trying to look for an option where I found myself drained doing everything at a time, because if the design is good and amazing, you want to make sure the production team is following it perfectly, and then the site mobilization and site execution. So I was juggling, and there were a time, and I wouldn't lie, even currently on some site I face issue where again the problem was the quality and the time, not only for the execution but also for the design production. And then again I ask myself that I don't want to just generate images and just post on social media. It should be really be a useful to workflow on daily basis. And then I started adopting and push myself to learn and research. And then I came up with very basic and smooth workflow, especially using ComfyUI, where you just drag your initial grayscale model and you don't have to think about the light settings. It's just you have to be, let's say, vocabulary strong to add the environment that you want to create. And you just push those tokens and use reference images. And I was really able to get the exact render. And I was able to present that to client. They didn't know that this was created in seconds using AI. Somehow they got excited because that really looked exactly like my 3D model and their actual space. And I was able to win the projects. And then from there on, I decided, to create a community because I have seen lots of architects using many AI and other advanced softwares and promoting that into real world use cases. But I may be wrong, but I have not encountered many interior designers and interior architects to do so. And then I took this challenge of sharing. I won't say this is more of a teaching, but this is like creating a community, and we are all passionate and we all want to learn and know. So this is more of a casual conversation where I'm going to share, and feel free to ask the questions if whether you are completely new to ComfyUI, if you already know and then you have a better workflow. I'm open to those discussion. Initially, I also thought that we should discuss very basic and quick thing of MidJourney, because how I use ComfyUI is using the reference images. There is a term called LoRa. So those are the trained model which can guide your image generation to look as the trained model, and the other way is to give the reference image, which now MidJourney is also really getting advanced, and they have in painting, they have out painting. So basically, all that you see is stable diffusion, and ComfyUI is also part of it. So I would like to start sharing my screen and again introduced in detail what I have prepared. And right after that, we'll jump to actual working example of ComfyUI.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Just let me know if everyone can see the screen that I'm sharing.
Yes, I can see right now.
Yeah. So basically, stable diffusion again is...
Krishna, we just see your downloads folders. Didn't open the slides, maybe not yet, but I'm also already only seeing the downloads folder inside, not the slides.
Now?
No, I still see your file folder.
Okay. Just give me a second. You see it now?
I see your whole screen right now. That's gone.
Okay. Yeah, just give me a second.
Okay.
Now? Can you see it now?
Yes, perfect. It's showing right now. Yes.
Yeah.
I can.
So basically, why ComfyUI? So there are different integrated workflow system of stable diffusion. One of them, and I would say one of the famous one, is automatic 1111, where you write the prompt and then you have those slide bars to adjust, and then it generates the images. But you don't know the behind process in this integrated system. Apart from automatic 1111, there are other workflow like Invoke, OpenDream, and Forge. Again, those are all backed by stable diffusion. And ComfyUI is more of a node-based system, where the thing which makes it more stronger and powerful is you could see the process while generating those images, and then that makes you understand every process. Actually, nobody knows that when you enter a prompt or give a reference, and between that process till you get the image, what entirely goes in between. Those are like human brain, where you just saw something and it triggered a thought, but you exactly cannot catch which neuron of your brain triggered that thought. That's how this exactly same way the stable diffusion work. But here, with all these nodes which are customizable, you can really control and create those features that would end up the result more or less of your desire. And then you can always tweak it and make it work according to you. It also works with the terminal base, but this is very difficult for non-coders. With ComfyUI workflow, it is more easy once you understand how those nodes are connected to each other, what leads to what, and how to tweak them again and play with the sizes and end result. So basically, we don't use the terminal base workflow. More or less, we're gonna talk about connected nodes here. Here's the interface that I'm gonna open. How this works is, with this interface, you have to have a knowledge of writing the prompt, which is basically a structure, the way you use other AI and let's say MidJourney. It also works as parameters, as I showed here. These are all the parameters, which includes the sizes, whether you want to take the edges out of it and create exact model, whether you are using the depth of the image and then you want that image generated. So those are the parameters. And it also works with the reference images. So let's say you have an image and you want to convert that into sketch, or you have sketch and you want to convert that into a proper render without changing any lines or element. That is where the image references, control, canny model, and such other node works, which we're gonna discuss in detail. Again, as I mentioned, this is much easy once you understand, because it is node based and you can see stepwise progress. And if there is any problem, those boxes would turn into red. So you know that here's where your image generation is stopped. And then you can again tweak it and make sure that it runs smoothly. I would say this is best option for the use cases, because again, we are not really looking, unless it's just a conceptual development or proposal for any project. When you are actually into the project where you are at stage and trying to depict the actual space in form of, let's say, sketch or color sketch or actual render, this is where the ComfyUI helps. People who are familiar with Blender's Dynamo Grasshopper would find this bit easy, or I would say familiar, because the Grasshopper system has, again, node-based thing, and this works in a similar way. Again, nodes, because it's flexible and you can customize. It can be, let's say, 4 nodes that could give you the desired result, and it could go endless. You can add upscale, you can add canny model, which is more, again, works with the wireframe. You can add image depth, references, those two multiple references if you want to create, let's say, to merge 2 images and create a unique reference. That's also possible. Once you understand the basic and the flow of it, it becomes really easy to mix and match. Again, this is rapidly improving, and on, let's say, twice in a week, there are amazing updates, which I would say is making also ComfyUI less complicated than it used to be, I would say, 3 or 6 months ago. Once the workflow and the entire system is created, it's very easy to share, because what happens is you can save this as a template, entire workflow, and then you don't have to always drag, type, and connect those nodes to each other. Once you see that one workflow is giving you a complete result as per your desire, all you have to do is just have those images ready, where you want sketch to convert or 3D model to convert, or you have any reference that you want to tweak. It also works. I stopped using Photoshop post-production or any sort of editing. after I created a workflow in ComfyUI. So once you understand and you have one workflow ready, all you have to do is just open as a template, keep drag and dropping as much as project you want, and then everything becomes easy. To share those workflow with friends or your colleague in office, again, it's very easy because these files and workflow can be saved in ComfyUI folder, and all you have to share with them is just the PNG render that you generated. The moment you drag and drop into ComfyUI, it shows entire workflow that how this image was generated. So you don't have to go back and forth and discuss very detail of node, because the person you share your image with would really understand the entire system by looking at it, because basically they're gonna see the depth of how you created that workflow. I would repeat this thing here, that it's easy to work with ComfyUI compared to the other stable diffusion model, which I just showed you here, which are Automatic 1111, Invoke, OpenDream, just because with the system, it's well structured and organized, and you really can understand how it's processing. And if we remember the step 1, 2, and how it is connected to 3, and 3 goes to 4, everything becomes really easy after that. I would like to ask everyone if everyone is feeling comfortable with the way I'm going.
Is anyone has any questions?
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Okay.
I am okay with that. I am following.
Yeah. Thank you. So I'll get going, and let me open then the ComfyUI, where I would like to explain the interface. I'm not sure whether everyone was able to install ComfyUI. Even after the session, feel free. I guess, Celine, we have a WhatsApp group for that.
Yes, we have like a common group. We can initiate one specific group under that community as well to ask questions afterwards the workshop. But
Yeah,
I remember some of our participants have had something trouble with installing it or using with the models. Are they here right now? Maybe they can just like raise their hands, or we can just like go along.
Yeah.
I am
Okay.
using. Okay, sorry. I am using Google Colab. I am trying to import the model of this workshop, but I think I found a way to import. I'm trying to set up right now, but I started ComfyUI on my Colab.
Okay, great. There is another way called RunPod, but which is paid one. So after we have this introduction and discussion of practical use cases, I would like to quickly go through and show online that how RunPod works. So if the system is weak, however, that also requires a good system. And I would say also one of the PDF that I have shared, the entire expectation of AI is also time efficiency. So if the system is strong, ComfyUI really works fast. I have some rendered which really took half an hour, and some which took 3 seconds. And then definitely we can take that to another workflow and enhance the effect, but it's really sometimes frustrating when this happened. But soon ComfyUI gonna minimize these difficulties, or let's say the issues that have so far, and we will have this issue resolved. But the better system, much, and I'm expecting, because this is basically used by interior and architects. I think we all use at least a better system for other render software, so this should work perfectly. Initially, I also had, just give me a moment. You can still see my screen, right?
Yes, we can see that.
Okay. Celine, could you open the slides of
That you previously sent
yes, please.
slides, but it's the same one as you are using right now, right?
Yeah, I have. Yes, I also have shared. Just a
Okay, I'm
moment,
just
please.
opening it
Yeah.
in a minute.
Sure, sure. Or just give me this. There's something else. Okay. I think now you guys can see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
And you see the making great images slide, right? With MidJourney AI.
Yes, like we can see the JPEG picture that you already sent me to guide the prompt structure, right? We're saying
Exactly.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I would like to share with everyone because almost every AI is also based with LLM, language based. The more refined our prompt, the better and controlled result you're gonna get. So here I have very quickly prepared a slide where I would like to show you image generated with unstructured prompt. So here you can see an interior lounge for option. And then I just mentioned interior design of a lounge. It gave me the lounge, but as you can see, the results are not defined. It's different. And I'm going to show you the lounge, which really looks like well balanced, I would say, in composition. And it's somewhere similar, but with the different tweaks and option. And it looks like it is created for certain theme. How I was able to achieve that, and I have tested and tried almost all known AI platforms, and I would say I can definitely assure you that it works for every platform. Instead of just saying that interior design of a lounge, I had a more detailed and structured prompt which says editorial photo of lounge interior, contemporary style, beige sofa, charcoal wood coffee table, teak wood wall panel, big canvas behind the sofa. So how usually I start is I would mention the area or let's say the object. Second would be the elements of it. So let's say I want a sofa with contemporary style, the sofa beige and table and teak wood paneling. And then I start writing the composition. So you would say big canvas painting behind the sofa. Then you have marble floor. So the floor is visible. You have neutral color scheme. So that again sets a theme of the image. Midday, which again works for the lighting and which is really important for architects and interior designers to show. Minimalistic, because I wanted to control less objects, because what happens with nice images, you will see some random deformed objects. So there are some tokens, I would say. By writing it, I have seen really a drastic change into the result. So usually when I create any image with the token minimalistic, it is not making the scene really with less objects in it, but I don't see required objects, for decoration. I always like to write, and I would recommend to write a camera name, because that would make your image look as real as possible, as clean as possible. the aspect ratio, and if you compare the image, you will see the beige sofa in every image. It is added with the wooden panel behind the sofa with big canvas. See, it's neutral color scheme, it's midday, and you will see a charcoal coffee table. So all tables here are black. So this is how not only MidJourney, but ComfyUI, no matter you have a reference image or you have a good node, which would take, let's say, a LoRa, um, or any reference images, if your prompt is strong, your composition will be really under your control. So in that WhatsApp group, I would again would like to share this structure, Celine, and I would like everyone to try to write all their prompt in structure way and tell us if they were able to control the image generations. Okay. I would now jump to a website, which is Civit AI. Everyone could take a screenshot of it, or if you have a notepad and pen, you can please feel free to write and save those websites. Again, after workshop, we would like to share a PDF where all the resources that we are going through will be mentioned. So basically, this is a community platform where all sort of stable diffusion based images and models are posted by community members. You will see from very basic to extremely creative image generation here. All you have to do is, let's say, I would say interior design. And then you will see these options. So initially, Lael asked about the checkpoints. So this is how the checkpoints that I shared was the ones that I use. The thing with Civit AI, you're gonna see lots of other model, or let's say other images. Let's say this is more like modern contemporary style, right? So these are available in LoRa to download. So you can download from here. And this works with stable diffusion 1.5. So basically, when we talk about checkpoints, it's more or less about the version. Again, I will discuss this in brief when we actually open the interface. You can download this and save. So the one we are not limited to the ones I sent. You have to look to see if you are particularly generating for a certain project and you have similar style. You can just download and integrate with your workflow, and you will get again the similar result that you see here. If you are converting your image and your style of presentation as designer is more watercolor based or sketch based, again, this is how the stable diffusion works. This is again a style. All you have to do is download. It will show you the size, and I'm going to show how to put the models into ComfyUI folder. Okay, so this is very important website where I would recommend you to go through on daily basis. It gets updated. So I download many models and use for the different scenario. Depends on the projects that my studio is doing.
The important point is, I think Krishna will also mention later, the trigger words like sets the LoRa models free. Like you have to use the specific words for that prompts to be able to activate that model to work properly. And it's also like written down in most of the models in the civitai.com. So it's a very useful site. I just like thank the the creators, the community there as well. I use a lot of models from there as well.
Yeah, Yeah. It's a big subject, and I would say that I was very fascinated by knowing fact that we could train our own model, but we are in a diverse industry. So let's say if client comes to my studio, half of them would say, okay, modern lux, because they see Pinterest flooded with those kind of concept, and some wants mid-century modern. So now training Laura to all this sometimes could be overwhelmed. So these sources that you see, along with the reference image, I don't think we have to take pressure of training those AI when you have these sources available, and people, there are community members spending lots of time to do that. So that's why I would prefer to have such, let's say, sources available with us. Okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna open my ComfyUI. Hope you all can see my screen.
Yes, it's visible right now.
Yeah, so this is my ComfyUI portable. This is how initially the folder would look like. And this is where I'm going to click. Before I jump into the actual screen, this is where all the folders and everything automatically gets saved. So let's say if I see the model, so all these files, let's say my LoRa's, so these are the LoRa's that I use. Again, I'm going to explain that. But when you download anything from, let's say if you download LoRa model from Civit AI, let me just show you the practical use of it. So this is LoRa. So by the way, I would like to clear one thing. When you see LoRa, that's the train model. In some cases, you're going to see the checkpoints. So that's the difference, because each of these files are have to be in their dedicated folder just to make sure that we don't get error while generating the images. It is asking me to, let's say, it's taking time. Okay, well, we can do this by, okay. So now I can download this. Depends on the file size. It shows the time over here. And now that I have this file ready, all I have to do, I can always cut, paste, or copy. And I have to go to my LoRa, which is again under ComfyUI. I go to my model. I'll have a folder called LoRa's. All I have to do is copy, paste. And this is done. Now you won't see anything happening here. You just have to open the ComfyUI. You just run, you're going to initially see the terminal window where it shows a script.
I recommend everyone to create a shortcut of this path file to copy somewhere in the desktop. I do that just one click without getting in the all file folders to use it that way.
Yes.
Shortcut is better, I think.
Yes, yes. So this is how now ComfyUI looks like, the interface. So what it does is, initially when you open, I would create a default workflow. This is how it opens when you initially open. Every time you close it and you open, it will show you the last workflow that you closed the ComfyUI with. You can always clear your screen and go to the default, and this is the default where it will have a very important node. So these are basically the nodes where we have to do our stuff. This file will show you everything which is under the process. It is queue. It will show all your renders. You can also do the batch rendering. You can do render images separately. This is a node library. Again, this is a part of installation. Like I said, the PDF where I had specific node mention how the node works is what we're going to quickly go through here. So node is basically, let's say I want to load image. So I'm simply typing load image and this is my node. So there are some special node that I found very useful for the actual practice that I do, and therefore these are installed over here. Up here, again, you have queue. So basically, this is a button where it works as a hit render. Manager, this is again very important thing, because if it's really complicated for you to install everything from Hugging Face or a GitHub, most of the useful nodes and updates are basically available here. That's what I have found so far. So if you click on custom nodes, here it will show you if it's outdated. It will show you to update, and then when a community member or designer would say, okay, this is the node you have to install, you can simply go search here, let's say in Paint, and then you will have all the nodes available, and simply you can do install. It will ask you to refresh the ComfyUI, and then you're done.
By the way, I just
Just
downloaded the ComfyUI as new as possible, but I didn't have the ComfyUI manager yet. I think some like the library is just updated. Is anybody has the same problem? Maybe I can paste you a link. That's where I get my ComfyUI manager. Or is everyone besides me can access to that?
I'm working on the online version, so it's not the same here.
Okay. If you
But
try,
please share it, Selen.
Okay.
We might need it for afterwards.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
And I
just
was going to ask Krishna, what is it that we should be seeing? I mean, I did open ComfyUI, but all of these things that you downloaded under LoRa, for example, for your model on your desktop, where should we see them when we open it online? Do we
are you running, are you running that on RunPod?
On Colab? First I ran the model in Colab, and here at Cloud Player I could open ComfyUI.
Okay.
But the models that you showed, the folders that you showed on your desktop, for example, LoRa, am I supposed to just pick it under that drop-down menu? Or do I also have to download them on my desktop?
No, if you're running that online, it should show to the library. So what it does is, which are installed here. The second method is to do it manually using terminal. So if you could just share the entire screenshot of
Okay.
Yeah, I would be able to see
Yeah,
that.
let me just show it because
Sure,
under
sure.
Laura's folder, it's where
Yeah,
should
Hocam,
I share?
I may answer that because I am also trying to open it on the Google Colab. It asks for you to connect your Google Drive, as you know. So the files under your, Google Drive, there's a ComfyUI folder, and there's also the same structure in the local, computer. It also appears there, like models, LoRa's, diffusers, etc. So I think you should upload the models there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I think after this we could spend like 10-15 minutes just to go through and practically try, and
I
then
couldn't send my
see.
I couldn't send my screenshot through Meet here, but that's fine. I'm gonna find out.
No, but what? Yeah, no
and
problem. What he's saying is absolutely right, because honestly, I run that either on RunPod or because I have all the latest model installed on the desktop. So I do know that it works with Colab, but not sure exactly, and have to quickly look through it. If I look into it, I think I'll be able to figure out. But I think because it's with Google, it has to be somewhere in the drive. Therefore, one of my past workshop attendee also said that for that, make sure that your drive is increased by certain GB, because also when you download, it gets filled up with the space, because some models are really like 2 GB, 4 GB. Right, Mr. Sadiq? Yeah, so it could sometime go
Yeah,
out of
exactly.
the
Yeah.
Yeah, and this interface also is very new. I think 2 weeks only. Initially they had everything on the right sidebar, and again, because they are trying one click desktop installation, and the interface is somehow changed. So basically, manager, also Celine, this is honestly a common question. When you try to install that on your desktop, initially it's not every time that you get, but it should, there are some steps in detail, which I could share video again on a group for everyone. So just follow that and then let me know if you get it or no.
Okay, I created WhatsApp group as well. The community members can just like see that from like the community underwards like ComfyUI workshop. I'll also like copy the link here and send you the here. The maybe one-to-one question answer period will be that time, I guess. We can continue with the slides. But the initiation part is can be a little bit challenging because every version just like something's added or something's changed, so we have to just like solve it by manual one-to-one.
Sure, and I would be happy to help. So please share. Let's get this installation thing sorted. So basically, this is very basic workflow default. How this work is, checkpoint is basically a model. So I would again go back to my slide and I try to draw a monster here. So this monster that you see, I would say it's a neuron where things happen. So far, it is all by numbers, so nobody knows actual process, and all these models, all this checkpoint that you see are different monsters, I would say. So SD 15 was the initial stable diffusion model, and then SD XL is the improved one. All we can do is when you see those results on Civit AI and you download, at least you will get idea by looking at those pictures. Let's say this is SD 1.5. So when you say checkpoint, this is what they are talking about. So this is the base model. So this is the monster here. So it's SD15. I think my ComfyUI got updated. Okay. Okay. So I would keep now as it is. I would keep SD15, beautiful nature glass. This is again a default prompt. Now, if you guys have heard about Flux, it is perfectly working with ComfyUI now, and there are some models, also some LoRa's, where you don't really need negative prompt. What I like to do, I still add this clip and put text. You don't want watermark. Sometimes you can add deformed objects, so it will generate something which you already mentioned, that just make sure it is not there. Empty latent image, this is basically a size, or let's say aspect ratio, that you could play with. Also, there are limits. Again, this subject is so deep. Celine, I hope I'm not going too fast or I'm not jumping. So what happens is with SD15, this ratio is recommended. If you go bigger, it will render, but yet it has chances to get your image bit not clear. Again, for that, we have another node to resize the image and to follow the ratio that we will see if I could cover everything by today. This is basically a render engine of ComfyUI where everything is connected, and the process happens here. You have the seed. Again, those are very familiar name if you are already using some render software in AI. You can have fixed increment. Again, what fix would do is keep your image same and then try to change if you have your prompt here mentioned. Steps, again, very important point, because the more number of steps would give you more refined image, but it is not recommended to go above 40. 20 is very basic. It's between 10 to 80, but 10 is very low, 20 good, 30 better, 40 best. For the 50 steps or 60, the span of render becomes lengthy. It takes lots of time, and there are chances that you get too much overlay to your image. SFG, again, these are the values that we have to go very deep into detail, where Celine will explain when we can do that. Sampler, again, if you are aware about any 3D softwares, you will have the basic understanding of this. Usually, I just use Allure and Keras. Denoise, again, will keep as it is. I will just hit render, and I will show what happens. You see those green box when that hovers from one point to another, which means your nodes are connected in a positive way. If you see this getting red, it will stop the render and ask you to change. And the window will pop up where you have to go through the link where people on GitHub are discussing the similar issue that you have right now. So this is the image. Now, I would change the, let's say, juggernaut model, and let's see what it gives. And then I would like to change the prompt, which I will just open the MidJourney. Okay, I'm going to take this prompt. If I increase the steps, the image quality would look much better, but then it will take more time to render. So you see how without changing anything, I just changed the checkpoint, and you see the difference. This was the first SD15, and this is the Juggernaut. So this is where the checkpoints are also very important. Let's say I will use the Real Vision SDXL. See, there's not much difference between the two checkpoints model so far. You see, let's say Excel base. Basically, when you add other nodes with it, this is where we have to go into deeper, because there are some nodes and some model work only with Excel and some with old Stable Diffusion 15. Now I would change here the prompt. I can add also, let's say 4K. I would say Zine or Arc Daily, and let's see what it gives. So this is another.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Meanwhile,
Sure.
You use pluses instead of like the commas. Is like it coming from the MidJourney? I don't think so, but in the ComfyUI, does it work better, or just like a use case of yours?
No, I would tell you something. Because I follow the structure while I'm prompting, especially not randomly generating any image, the comma and the plus doesn't change the output for sure.
I see.
But for me, when the plus, yeah, it's visually very clear where my prompt breaks, and if I am just mentioning, and where it starts.
I see.
So that's my way of writing prompts, whether it's in MidJourney or any AI. Really, it doesn't make any difference if I do the comma also.
I see. I didn't know that. Like, I'm using double columns or either the commas. That's why I'm just so surprised to see that, and I learned something.
Yeah, no. The plus is always a very clear thing, because sometimes you know that when, let's say, a word hot dog. So when you tell AI hot dog, it will give you the food hot dog. And when you break that to hot dog, whether with comma or plus, it gives you a dog on fire.
It's funny though.
Yeah, we can do that here. See, hot dog. Let's see. And hot dog.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Is there any difference between comma and using plus? Could we see the difference between the results when we using the comma and plus in the prompt?
Honestly, I don't see, because when I started doing this, there was no such logic. I initially tried because even MidJourney works with the emojis. So if you add smiley face and try to hit render, it will give you smiley face. So it does understand those images and stuff, but I wanted to see how strong it works with it with plus and comma. Again, it's just my way, because visually I see that I know where I'm breaking. With comma, if I see, everything for me looks like a English paragraph. And I wanted to make it look more not like a story, but something which is structurally planned. So that's the only reason. Here again, this version is showing me same thing, but let's see, we can always go back and try. Yeah. Let's do this. So I have this prompt and I will just use the comma. And let's see.
By the way, I want to ask the audience as well. Does anyone have any questions about the ComfyUI in general, about the installation process or the libraries manager?
I think Celine, all of them will have.
I have a question, if it's okay. So
Sure.
we mentioned about this sampler options. I couldn't understand what is the difference between them, or does it make a difference?
Yeah. Let's practically see those. So the default is Allure and normal. I will just try to render. I will also try to add DPMM and let's say Paras. Basically, sampler in 3D rendition is those little noises. So those images and renders that we are getting right now are created by noises organized to create a picture out of it. So those samplers are again a combination where you go into the numbers of noises to make those as clear as possible and create image out of it. And therefore, that's what affects the speed of your render that you are trying. In ComfyUI, the explanation I just made was a very old explanation when it was first introduced with 3ds Max. Now with stable diffusion with ComfyUI, how this sampler works is if you are using a certain, let's say you are using SDXL model and you keep everything normal, because the model is strong, the checkpoint and your LoRa, that is not giving much different references. But if sometime what happens is you don't know if you are working with very basic workflow without trying to control it, because when you don't control it, gives the result by itself. So there are some people who would like to change that and see which works best. Also, in my system, my computer system, I don't use a high Keras or this GPU, because I use 3060 Ti, which is really not working strongly. My V card is only 4 GB. So if it's 16 and you use Keras, the process is fast and the image is more clearer.
One question for me as well.
Okay.
Pardon, Sadık.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question, Selen? Little
Yeah,
short
sure.
question.
Sorry.
Is there a setting we can always use for this? I mean, a setting that will always deliver a good result. I mean, there are lots of options. Is there?
Yeah.
So, any recommendation to?
Yeah, when we will jump into Flux some other day, because Flux is something that everyone is still exploring, because the last and very big update came on 28th of November. So yes, Flux do have those fixed setting. I would show some image, and that's where this thing works. When you open my image into your ComfyUI, you will be able to see the exact setting that I use. So if your studio is delivering particular quality, let's say your presentation is always on a projector, and by using this setting, you are getting amazing result no matter what your concept is, you can stick to it. But when you experiment as an architect, you are just trying to understand what really makes the outcome the way you want. That's how you just play with it, and then stick to things that makes you comfortable, and get you the image. So if you see my renders, you won't see much difference. I always use Allure and Keras, or I go normal. With Flux, you must use Beta for the schedule. So that's where, because it's pre-trained model, which works best. Here, we are trying to use the basic checkpoint and trying to play with the prompts and reference images. So it depends on your computer speed and the graphic card, which gives you a better result. So therefore, see, we don't know everyone's system, right? So some will give as per my graphic card and my drivers, it will give me better result, but it may not work. All you have to do is just tweak. Always, how I practice, I start with the default. All I change in K-sampler is steps, because when you have 30 or 40 steps with CFG8, you will get much better result than what we are seeing right now. By the way, this is the capacity of ComfyUI when you don't have any workflow created for yourself, and all you do is just write prompt and get those images. Now I'm going to show you the actual use cases and the outcomes of it. So, and then we will read those workflow together. I'm sure in that you will have lots of questions, and I'll be again happy to answer those.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so all I'm doing right now is simply, I will just take one of my render, which is automatically saved in the folder, and I will just drag and drop so we all understand how this thing works. So I will say this is our custom workflow, which is very basic and work with the reference image. So again, this is again a default. We must have this checkpoint. I have my prompt. See here, I have the commas. So that doesn't make really any change into the outcome. Editorial photograph. See, those token, editorial photograph, hyper-realistic photograph, these triggers AI to work on the composition. So I always like to have that added to the starting point of my prompt. So I simply don't write a contemporary interior lounge. I always put editorial photograph. And this also makes a difference when you say a hand sketch of a lounge interior design. So the result, the words that you really want most in your outcome should push as further as you could. So let's say a first 3 or 4 words will trigger it most, and the rest, therefore, the rest is always a composition, the overall environment, and the quality of the photograph, or let's say the camera. All I'm trying in my head, I was really prepared with the quickly go through the use cases again. So let's say you have one composition ready. I would use this as a real world example. Let's say we are practicing in a studio and you have one interior scene, and just confirm that you guys can see my screen, huh? Full.
Yes.
We can see you.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you see? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's say this image was generated in MidJourney, simply an eclectic lounge with contemporary twist. I mentioned that I would want some patterns on the carpet and 2 brown chair. And again, sorry guys. So we like the composition. I like the layout, let's say, and then your client is expecting you to follow the same layout and present different styles, right? So this is one style. All I did was, again, to image resize. To all of you, I would quickly mention something. Right now, we are going through the use cases. So you will have lots of questions on why this extra node is added. So for that, there has to be, a very elaborative, I would say, the session or workshop, which Celine again will explain. All I'm trying to show is the use cases, what all possibilities now we have to control AI generated images using ComfyUI. And because I kept mentioning MidJourney again, because it is capable of giving us a really unique concept at this stage right now with the high quality. It works, how it works with ComfyUI, the more high quality and good resolution image you give it as a reference, and then you render, you're going to really see the drastic change. If the image quality in the reference, because it reads those images and the pixels. So if the image quality is not good, if your composition is not proper, you're gonna see it reflecting your final result. Instead, another alternate of MidJourney is again Pinterest, because ComfyUI is capable to merge 2 different or 3 different concepts. All you have to again do is work on your nodes. The more nodes you add and you try to add the control, it would drag your final result to the desired consideration. So I would say, when someone shares with you the workflow, all these nodes that you see creates a one group. Let's say this is one workflow. All you have to do is, I have this image. Now I want to see this in different concept. All I did was, I kept everything same. I gave it a reference image and I just mentioned Wabi Shabby. Initially, it was contemporary design. Now I'm telling it to generate something Wabi Shabby. I will just hit the Q. I will generate the render. I already generated 2. This is one option where you see the same layout. You'll see carpet, center table, big picture, crystal chandelier, and planter and wall lamps. This is another image. You see, so you don't see it changing too much from the scene, but yet just changing the colors and the theme. So imagine you are presenting multiple concept for one room. This is what we have. See, so now this is Wabi Shabby. So if you compare, you can see this way. When I click here, and let's say when I drag and drop, you will understand to generate this render, I had contemporary interior style, pink fabric, monochromatic color scheme, playful texture, big artwork. Always when you check your prompt and compare with the result, you will have, let's say, 80 to 90% of similarity. So this is one use cases. I would conclude this by saying that you have one image ready. The composition is fitting to your, let's say, the area that you're designing. The elements are same. All you want to do is to change the different theme out of it, and it is possible with ComfyUI. All you have to control is the prompt, and the reference image should stick to the same, and you will get the desired result. With this workflow, I generated this concept.
I have a short question.
Sure.
Without changing the design, it only adjusts the textures and improve the lighting in this image.
Yeah.
How can we do this, changing the design without changing the real design? I mean, there is no any main element change it, but as I can see, there is only change some of textures and relighting. How can we make this more control when we are designing a, for example, interior image like that?
Yeah. Again, for the changes, that the result that you are asking, there is a separate workflow. I hope I have that ready, and we will go through it. This workflow is particularly created to stick to the same composition. Even the proportion of the sofa is not changing. You see, it's not turning L shape, right? That's what you mean, right? Instead of straight, you want to control that to be in L shape, right? So which means we are changing the composition. So for that, to control that, there is different workflow. This workflow is like, this is like a template. Yeah. So you will hear this word workflow a lot. Basically, that's a template. So you do mix and match, you generate this, and then that becomes your template.
Do you have any resource to find more workflow like that, or any workflow library?
Honestly, yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
I was actually gonna make this announcement at the end, but Krishna is just like a part of like big AI community that also like have like their workshop series, and they have like different kind of workflows as well, ready to download when they just like be a part of their community. So at the end, I think the Krishna also present these workflows, how we can just like achieve them. But from right now, like we are just like basically introducing the ComfyUI workflow of the interface, but like you can do dozens of stuff in ComfyUI. It's not possible to cover each aspect in this like limited version.
Okay.
But I think the Krishna will just like move us along towards that, like the world of the workflows, I guess, at the end.
Yeah, so basically this was created by community where they used to generate lots of NFTs and lots of, let's say, those cartoonish image generation and something related to the characters, I would say. People like me and other architects, or let's say interior designers, would understand those. Basically, CivitAI is also a source for you to download the workflow. You can find lots of workflow on CivitAI as well. All you have to understand, and what I am trying to teach in my 12-hour workshop, is the logic behind it. So there are millions of nodes available right now, but which node would convert that using, let's say, in painting? So you'll be able to select everything and change only that part. And these workflow that you see right now that I'm going to share is created by me understanding that what works for our industry. And there is no right or wrong. There are workflow which looks like 15 nodes, and we could, if we find the right plugin or from GitHub or from Hugging Face, it can be done in 3 steps. So you always have to keep researching, and therefore I would want to create a community within us that we will always introduce each other with those new nodes. So hey, instead of remove this 3 and just attach this one, and you will get the faster result and the better result.
Okay.
Yeah, That's how ComfyUI works. There's no right or wrong. It's just you. And honestly, I have researched so far and curated 144 workflows where, you know, people are aging and there are morphing happening, you know, stuff like that. But honestly, in interior and architects, only 21 workflows are real world use cases. That's what, you know, those changing building and dancing building, those are the stuff. And half of them are for social media that you post, you fascinate, then you attract the community member. But for real world project, there are few 12 to 18 workflow that can, if you, sorry. Yeah, so this is one. Now, I would say, okay. Now, this is called one workflow. Again, where I have the prompt and everything is ready. All I'm trying to render here is, let's say you have a piece of furniture, you have a sofa and you have a table, and then you want to render a scene to have that table and that sofa, or let's say 80-90% similar object without building a model.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, so these are the workflow. So let's say you'll hear again people explaining on social media, and I do that. I have posted where I record my voiceover saying, hey, I use IP adapter node and attach a photo, and ComfyUI was able to give me this. So this can be used for many purposes. So all we are trying to do here is how we as designer could utilize. And here are the samples that you're going to see live. It's a very deep subject, really. Even if I started recording, I think I'm not able to finish yet for 8 hours. I think I need another 3 hours. So the full stretch of the recorded course would be almost like 12 hours. And
Thank you.
Flux is not added yet into that. So, okay, you see the leg, you see the material tabletop. The sofa is quite different. And then you can change the table. So this is called in painting. So I have a reference image. Let's say I have this table, which I want to fix in front of this sofa. You see, I will show you exactly. I was able to achieve exact sofa as well. I'm just gonna open it here and show you guys.
Can I ask a question, Krishna?
Sure.
Do you use a specific LoRa model here, or is it just the base model with the image inputs?
No, very basic. See, LoRa again is for style. Okay, sorry, let me clear this. Sorry to jump, but again.
I know. Maybe it would be better to just understand like while you're just like starting the initial workflow, you add the base model first, then you start to combine with the LoRa model, right?
Yeah, okay. That's how it works. So how LoRa works is you just type here
LoRa,
yeah, and then you connect model to model, and then your model this goes to your K sampler. But then what matters here is this thing that you see, this LoRa, it's what you have to, yeah. So now let's do Civic AI. Okay, and let's see sketch LoRa. Okay, by the time it loads, I will jump, so I can show that.
Continue. I just wanted to just like everyone to notice that, like, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah. No. We will do that. I'll show you how exactly that works. But basically, it is little critical also, Celine, because people are mixing reference image with LoRa. That's a big mistake. When you have LoRa, you're already guiding your prompts to go to that direction. So if you want something with sketch and your LoRa model is trained to generate sketches, you don't need to give it a reference image and confuse it. When you have the reference image and you have a proper prompt structure, you don't need LoRa.
I see. So but it is possible to adapt the images as well, right? Like,
yeah, and even LoRa, you can attach multiple LoRa. There's different workflow. You can use more than one LoRa. So like in MidJourney, we can mix the S reference. Like one is for color composition, one is for let's say the outcome, the image, exactly. So you can do that.
Another question.
Sure.
Is it done?
Sorry.
Is it done of your answer? There is another question from Fatih Shahin asks, how can we learn the usage cases of these nodes?
Celine?
Fatih Shahin has just like asked from the comments that how we can learn the usage cases of these nodes. Are you asking Fatih for specific usage cases of some specific nodes or in general workflows? I didn't get the question. In general workflow.
In general. Fatih, use cases is what I'm explaining right now. I don't mind to share all this workflow as a package. When everything is done, all I have to do is to share a G drive and I can have a title and that image. All you have to do is see how I'm dragging and dropping each image. Let's say, so in G drive, if I share you a photo and you just upload like this, oh, sorry, I think I open it instead of uploading.
The thing is, Krishna is just showing the basics of the ComfyUI and showing some example workflows, and we will be able to use them as well as Krishna will share it. So you need to just like understand each like the usage case of nodes by experimenting it. Like the most basic thing is working like that, but we will just like see the brief of that of each workflow, I guess. Then you can just like download these workflows and try to just like experiment with the usage cases of the nodes itself, I think. Am I right?
You are absolutely right. And I would just clarify one thing. When you use term use cases, these workflows are saved. Fateh, I would say this is sketch a 3D model to render. So this is the use case. You are converting your grayscale 3D to render without actually building it. That's one use case. When you have a reference image and you are generating, that is one use case. When you have, I'm going to show more, where you have one object converting into different option for client to see, that is one use case. So my files are saved as such that you'll understand the use cases, but then you have to adopt that actually what you are using this for. So if you want sketch to be converted into render, that's one use case and you'll have a completely separate workflow. So just click on that and drag your image and you'll understand. That's one thing, Celine. Second would be to learn, because I built this from scratch. So there was a logic behind it, but you have to know the basic of what IP adapter does so that you understand that, okay, why that node is doing something in my workflow. So this is a 3D black and white, and I like this ambience. I like this green. I like how the composition is. I like, let's say I like the image. Now I will hit enter. I hope this shouldn't take much time. See, so ComfyUI tracked all those lines which are there in my grayscale model. So for this, there is a node called Kenny, and that node required another 2 supporters. You know, that's how this entire node system works. It will take little time because you see my step here is 40, and this is my GPU, which is taking the load in the sampler just because I wanted the image to be as clear as possible. And you can always see the progress here. It will show you how many percentage is done. So you need 100% of the other node, and K sampler takes its own time. So it's only 18%. Here you can save. Let's say I like this workflow. It's perfectly working. I tried a couple of times and I don't want to lose it. All you have to do is to go here and export API format. Now, this workflow, I would say 3D to render. Okay. Now, if I share this file with you guys now and you try to drag and drop, you will have this open in your system without doing anything else. You don't have to build anything from scratch. Now, the question back to Lael, who asked initially the checkpoints installation. What happens sometime if my node in my ComfyUI and my checkpoints and the model that I use, if you don't have that exactly installed, and if I share my workflow, initially you will have error. It will show you that some of your nodes are missing, some of your, let's say, checkpoints. It will be specific, like LoRa model missing, because I am giving you something which you don't have installed in ComfyUI. So therefore, when we do this one-on-one as a community, it is very important to share also that what model and what checkpoints, those are the important ones. The model, whether it's SD15 or SDXL, or whether it's checkpoints and stuff like that.
So do you add any links? Is there a function as such? You add the link and the whole model comes with the link to the checkpoints that you need to.
Yes, that's what we did, right? Let's say with Gazim, I shared one. So all my workflow, actually, I have little more than what I mentioned here, but I don't mind to give everything in this format. See, all LoRa that I use are here. See, my control net models are here.
ComfyUI interface right now. We can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all I have to sort now is to have a video link or something, Lael, to show that whether if you're using in Google Colab, here is the folder, drag and drop. If you're using RunPod, drag and drop here. And if you have desktop, you simply go to your folder and drag and drop. I think after that, we'll be able to resolve this. So here is my result. So this is my result. And if you can see, it captured the essence of the image from here. It looks like whether, I mean, as if it's part of the same area. I would say the same concept. And this is how you can compare. And you can notice it got the chair correctly, the carpet, the proportion, the table is oval. You see the side table over here. The floor lamp, the pendant is making little extension. So there are 2 ways now to enhance this, to keep rendering and to get the result, or we simply take to Photoshop and remove this. You don't need that if you get all my workflow, because I do have that in painting thing also to remove from here. But overall, I want you guys to tell me whether we were able to achieve a good result.
I think so.
Yeah. And also there are
definitely.
some settings. Yeah. See, the strength of my control net is 0.80. Maximum is 1. So I'm 20% less. My start percent is 0 and end is again 1, which means if I convert this into 1 and 1, which is maximum, which means I want each line to be rendered. What happens? Sometime you'll have this end thing, right? See, this shape, you won't understand actually that what it is, and then it renders random thing. So we consider this as a noise in the image, even this, right? Because it captures the shadow and the thing from here. So let's try to render with this. And then if you see that those objects are showing unnecessary, simply just go and tweak this and make it less. When you do this less, you will get less of those unwanted objects and you get more of the desired result.
So it's
So even
actually
if,
like limiting the AI's itself, like the creation value of it. Like if you increase it, you just like make the AI to obey the into your prompt, like into your like
exactly.
photo details. But if you just like decrease it, the AI will just like generate as it is see itself, right? Can we just translate it like
Exactly. Exactly. Let's say I'm choosing another concept. Let's say we would do something like this. Let's see. When you are in experimental stage, all you have to do is go crazy and see what works without changing much of the nodes, but just change the parameters of it. That's why, again, initially we said, it works on parameters. Yeah, because that's the key to control. You have prompt, you have parameters, and you have reference images. And once you understand those basics, it becomes very easy.
Does anyone have a question while the model is just like updating itself?
Yeah. I'm also looking for question and some more.
Hello, Krishna. I have a question for you.
Sure.
Many people don't know which hardware we can use to run these models because they see AI, but when you use it on your desktop, you have to a proper hardware. Which hardware do
Yes.
you recommend for to run these models?
Um, See the hardware.
As minimum.
Yeah, that's what I have here as well. This is a minimum.
I
This is
do not
RTX.
see. Okay.
Can you see right now? I would put this in a chat box, the configuration. This is what I have in the chat box. This is minimum.
Okay.
The stronger your VRAM is, the quicker, and see, it doesn't differentiate much on the quality, to be honest. That's what I have experienced. It matters when it comes to speed, and with flux it will crash your system if it is not minimum of what I sent you, because my system, my RTX is 3070 and it is crashing.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Yeah. By the time this renders, I would like to show one interesting, workflow. Can we make? Can you share this? Everyone can see this.
You mean the video that you sent me?
Yeah.
I'm just like sending through the WhatsApp group that we newly created. But if you're just sharing in your screen right now, we just see the ComfyUI interface, not the video.
Okay. I'm gonna open this right now. Sure.
I think you need to switch the windows.
Yeah.
There's another question from Fatih, but I guess you mean Colab or Kaggle, etc., right, Fatih? He's asking, can't we make it in the cloud?
If you're using, I assume, Google Colab, you can use there the GPU units, I guess.
Yeah, run pod, but it takes some charges. It's not for free. I can show you right here. Quickly, I'll just discuss this video. Can everyone see the video?
Yes, we can see it right now.
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. See, this is also ComfyUI. I'm also going to show the workflow for this. So I type 6 different specification of a chair that I want, one with leather, one with chrome, one with the boucle fabric. Again, tweaking the parameters. So I'm not changing much on the side because I don't want the proportion to change. And because if the proportion changes, the background still stays the same because this is also in painting. So as I mentioned, the possibilities are crazy. How I got this idea was looking at the workflow where people were going crazy with showing you a person from baby to 100-year-old. So I just got the term morphing. And let's say when you click and then, see, you'll have morphology. See, this is how you search for the node. And then try to...
We still see the video interface if you're just switching the windows.
Okay. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, the render is still happening. Let's see. Just taking some time. And then what I do, initially, I try to work with the image. If I don't get this sort of result now, simply look for the LoRa of this image. And there is a command where you can select and then block everything by Control B. So I am not going to remove this node from my workflow. And if I run everything by adding LoRa, which looks like this image, it bypass this node and follow the rest and gives me the result. So you don't always have to delete and keep adding and complicate the process, because then you'll get frustrated because you see something and you won't be able to get it because you tweaked a lot. So again, there are solutions to that you don't have to change. Krishna, I don't like the image because see the result. I think all it adopted was the, let me activate this again. So I'm selecting and Control B, so it won't bypass anymore. I think it just took the colors and then gave us those bright colors. And even my composition also changed slight. So in this type of scenario, do not waste your time to keep rendering. I rather recommend you to directly jump, block this without deleting, and add the LoRa from again CivitAI. Sorry. Hello?
Did somebody ask a question or?
Yeah.
I think there is
Can I
no
continue?
any question. Yes, we can continue.
Yeah. Another very interesting and useful workflow is to have your image, and I think this will answer the first question, that you want to change, let's say this, without touching, and you could do multiple. This is a workflow where you have the checkpoint. My prompt is same. I'm not touching it. It simply says it's lounge interior, eclectic and minimalistic, velvet sofa, hand-tufted carpet, lamp, pastel paint on the wall, fabric decoration on the wall. You see fabric is hanging behind the sofa on the wall. So it really understands the term, the token that you give. It's just the right structure will trigger the right image. These are again a special node to do the in-paint, which is now done with Photoshop and also with the MidJourney. Again, I'll jump to MidJourney. I'm going here. I will try to go to editor. It will ask me, let's say I want to select this. I open in the full editor and I would just say add a cat. Submit edit. So basically what I did is in painting. And the same workflow works here. The masking that is done is again using the mask editor. See, so you see the original sofa. I want to change this sofa to this here. But the problem is this is straight sofa. And as per my approved, let's say layout, I still have to stick to the L shape. Let's see what this workflow gives us. So it is showing us that this was the original image. I selected this part and I'm telling ComfyUI that take this to this reference and please attach this sofa in L shape to my same image without changing much. Let's see the result. The actual result I got was this. You see? Everyone can see my screen, right?
Yes, we are.
No.
But we
couldn't
see any.
We are not seeing the image, yeah.
Ah, okay. Okay, I will
Krishna,
just put everything. Yeah.
If it's just like available for you, you just can share your main screen. So if you just like swap the windows.
Yeah, I just click on entire thing because I have to jump to show more of. Okay, so hope everyone, I will repeat quickly. So we were rendering this sofa L shape, this sofa to L shape instead of this. The result I got out of it is this. You see the sofa, I gave it a reference. It's straight sofa, but I like the style. And I wanted that to fit in my original picture, which was this.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It is still rendering. Let's see.
In our previous workshop sessions where we held like the most ready to use AI tools that is available through the web services, everyone just asking those type of specific questions. How can I just like admit my model to do that, like how to control it? But the web applications are just so limited, so you cannot control each stance, but your workflow is just like capable of altering the entire like the detail of the image. So I think it's more useful in our cases as we are the designers.
Exactly, Celine. And I have tried almost, I would say, every available AI from over, I think 2023 April. I dedicated myself like 3 hours a day, and then it increased, especially after the peak in last year in November. And I am at stage right now that as of today, I can claim that this is the strongest AI and free to use. It's just it's little complicated for installation, but once you understand, it has everything. By the way, again, sorry to jump guys, but it has inbuilt Photoshop, which they call photo fee, so that you don't need license, and it's legal and it's completely free to use. So the thing that you do in Photoshop, let's say as a designer, you have a mood board and you just drag and drop and make that digital collage of your furniture, and you have empty room and you want to show that furniture place as a render, it is possible with ComfyUI. We do have the workflow for that as well. See, it's ready. So you go here and see. And I think I did some mistake, because you see the image is a bit closer, right? This is a bit far. With two planter, I saw that is zoomed out and cut off from here. So there must be some, some parameters that have been tweaked here, especially the image resize, maybe here. So that's how you just control everything, tweak without changing anything, and you get what you want. See? And by doing this, I generated one more option, which is more brown velvet. And I had another one with the black and white stripe, which is here. See? So it's really powerful tool for sure. It's really powerful tool for sure. I think the very first workflow where I was trying to put the same sofa and the table into the scene was not coming accurately. I would like to try that again, and then I can show you more use cases. So yeah, this is one of the use cases where you have everything ready, but you feel, okay, I should come up with a couple of more options for particular furniture and show client that if they go completely contrast or they want the same color scheme, again, you can rely on ComfyUI for that. Now, again, I have masked. I like the image composition, but the sofa again was too plain. And I like the print from this sofa that I would want to see here for more African sophisticated lounge. And again, if I hit render, let's see what it gives us. So usually how I do is there are a command where you can group everything. So this way, it's extremely easy for us to remember. And I think one of the attendees asked that the use cases, right? So see, this is image base. I am masking it. I have image reference. This is engine, and this is where you get everything. So basically what I'm doing, I'm masking something by giving it a reference, and that's my use cases. So this is, by the time this renders, I would like to open more of the workflows.
It's so nice to see some consistency with generative AI.
Yeah, it is, and it is going more stronger day by day.
Yeah, everyone talks about generative AI, but when you try to implement it with your workflow, you do not get consistent things, generations.
Yes.
But
Yes.
really, I liked your workflow, and it's very useful.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I'm trying to even develop more because, as I said, by couple of months now, or maybe till March or April, we will have even much more squeezed nodes ready, because people are working day and night. But it's just, it is us who will just make sure that, it's as, I wouldn't use the word easy, but the practical it is for us, and easy to understand. God forbid if you lose this workflow, imagine you know how to build it from scratch with the logic, because this thing that you see here, those are not random. As a community, we know what is in painting, we know what is morphing. So the more strong your vocabulary, you just have to look for it. You will for sure have the nodes, and you only have to understand. I will show you one more interesting thing. See
Really
see
nice.
here. So
Yeah.
you give it, I deleted that to introduce with the new workflow, but yeah, so that was the sofa, and see how you have it. And from last 3 or 4 months, if I'm not mistaken, I have tendered almost all my projects using this workflow, honestly, and I'm not modeling anything anymore. Because the people, no, I asked myself that client doesn't care when they look at the image, especially non-technical, whether it is with AI or with 3D Max or with Revit or with what software you do. All they care is how clear it is, whether you fulfilled all the aspects that initially we check manually while we approach client, and how fast you deliver, because everyone now is struggling with the time. So I make sure that everything is check marked by doing this. So I experimented with few clients without telling them that, hey, this is AI. They don't care. Some client also have misperception about, oh, AI, then what is your creativity? But forget about AI. Usually we open Pinterest, we will look for the concept, we will create a digital board, try to sketch, try to put into 3D software, then render. This is a very basic a practice that we do. And this fits at very initial stage, where you open MidJourney quickly, mix 2 nice references and create outline. Bring that outline in form of sketch, your black and white model. Those are, let's say, basic, just because you want to control, and put it here, and you will be able to achieve the results. I will render this.
So the architects are the design, as the designers, we don't have to like to use our manual powers to just initiate some stuff. We just like can create images with our like intentions using AI. It's perfect in that. Like it.
And the good thing about this, the another use case, whether it's on system or no, when you able to do this, you are able to do this, you get yourself more time to focus on other business related aspects of executing the entire project to the real world. So your quality is controlled. Sorry, Gazim, hi, I see you.
Hi, Krishna.
Welcome. Welcome.
One more time. Sorry for the cyber attack. One more time.
No. It's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine. So yeah, what I was telling is, it makes our life easier, not because we will make everything fast and then we are free. No, our time is utilized for things that we should be doing actually. So that's a very strong part of these tools that I see. Yeah, again, this is a simple workflow with giving it a reference and doing this, getting something similar. So I will show you more interesting workflow. Okay.
Krishna, sorry,
This is where I was.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Did you try the Flux for these nodes, this setup? How it was performed? How can you used a Flux this workflow with this workflow?
Yeah. Okay. So I will explain in very simple and straight way. Initially, we discussed that checkpoints are the model, right? These are the
Yes.
model which
Yeah,
are guiding this thing.
No,
Now,
no.
Flux.
My question is, Flux is more advanced model, more real aspects creating. Is it better than SD 1.5 XL, or these are fine enough?
Flux is more trained. So these checkpoints that we are integrating in our nodes and workflow are trained model by developers. Or let's say there is community, and those are the technical geeks who are consistently coding and making this as improve, as advanced as possible. So far, Flux is the most, let's say, trained. Like for text to image, the MidJourney is now on top. If I'm not wrong, so far they have trained with 15 billion images. And therefore, the images are very high resolution, and you get very creative concepts out of it. So SD15 was the very first one trained by Stable Diffusion. Initially, Flux developers and Stable Diffusions were working together. And then they went apart, and Flux developed their own software, which can be now integrated with many AI, not only Stable Diffusion and ComfyUI. So SDXL is more advanced than SD15, and now there is a Flux. So I tried, and the images are good, but I don't see much difference with the same prompt and same workflow with Flux. Maybe you get little more photographic, or let's say photogenic. The images are more, here sometimes it looks like render and not photograph. And there it's more photo. That's what my personal experience is. And I'm still gonna continue trying that.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Yeah, I see, again, I would answer, yes, Flux is more advanced. So if we have control over Flux, nothing changes workflow wise. Instead of this checkpoint, you have a Flux model. That's it. And then your image generation becomes much better and clear. That's it. Okay, now this is another use cases. You have a sketch ready and you want to render it. If you notice, in 3D also, we had a Kenny use. Remember to convert the 3D model into render. Same way, so this Kenny group, what it does is they take the entire model to convert the line art so that the ComfyUI would understand the lines that we want to cover, the shapes and the composition. And here's the result. You see? So again, I'm adding a node, image comparer. See, simply all you have to do is attach one image with my sketch, and then you render it. See, it's like you use the language while you talk, that you want to compare how close it is from your sketch to 3D. You just double click, look for the node, image comparer, and you have this ready. You see, so these nodes are from community and they keep updating. You can always try to add those and see if it does its work. I'm just rendering the same scene again just to show you that what was our actual sketch and how close it is so far. Don't forget, I know these are advanced nodes and everything, but it really messes up if your prompt is not matching much with the result that you want. So hyper-realistic render, see, I'm not writing photography. So if you notice, it looks like render and not a picture. So realistic render of a bedroom, modern concept, monochromatic color scheme. So everything that you see here is, it is more monochromatic and no more colors. Headboard will have an illustration of a jungle in watercolor in grayscale, polished brass pendant lamp, charcoal black wooden floor, Kodak Portra. Match my prompt with this and the sketch. Now, if you put anything to the prompt and give this sketch, no matter how refined your Kenny model gets you the line, the result won't be so close. So therefore, Celine, we must share that structure to our group for prompting and always make sure that you follow the structure and give the node the correct direction. So you end up with the best possible result.
Yeah, I'm sending prompt guides that you already sent me to the same group as well.
Please. Okay, see? You see? So you, the chances are you getting 90% of your desired result in 1 or 2 shot maximum. So this is another use cases of it. This is similar. I was trying to experiment how strong the prompt could affect to your image result. So I rendered this image in MidJourney. And then I tried to change my prompt with mid-century oak floor chair on a lilac and burgundy patterns. Here you don't see those colors, right? I'm going to render.
Krishna, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Since I joined in the middle, I got a bit confused. Are you using these different pictures as references with the same model or with the same sketch?
No.
For example, for the last one, I'm asking.
Come again for the last one?
Yes. Are you using these as references or with another purpose?
No, these are my image where I only want to change, let's say, the color.
Okay.
I don't want to change the composition. I don't want to play much with it. I just want to see if it's in lilac color, how it will look instead of yellow or let's say black. If I emphasize on lilac color, how it will look. See?
Okay. I will watch the recording and I will get it, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Now, again, the same question that was raised before. The composition is same, but let's say the items in it, the elements are changed. Here it is, see? So you have a big picture, you have a table, but those flowery thing is now less. You see, you have change in ceiling. So again, the same workflow. All I'm doing is to try and play also with the composition. If you see, everything is same. My workflow is going somewhere. I have to restart. All I'm trying to play is with my prompt here. See? So prompt and those guidance, everything is powerful here. You cannot underestimate one thing. I'll get back to the same sofa thing that we discussed earlier, that I want this sofa and I want this table to be placed. By the time it is rendering, I'll just show you the result. See? So again, you don't have to model the entire sofa or table in 3D Max or SketchUp or Revit. You can really use these workflow and create.
So I assume you just like, while showing your customers the interior design options, you just like readily choose the elements like the furnitures available in the source and making a concept images with those, or?
Yeah, that's how I show. Let's say I am based in UAE, so there are some basic ready furniture shops where everything is online, and they will send me the link, like which type of sofa would look best in their property, because Dubai market is really high when it comes to real estate. So people now are more investing for Airbnb. It's like a business, a very booming business over there. So they will have everything picked up, or they will ask us to pick up, and then they would say, okay, how about this in the lounge with the green wall? Or please take a picture, Krishna, and show me how this sofa would look there. So you can add that picture of that actual room, take that link, download that sofa image, attach with this workflow, and just render. So they will have idea that if that sofa. Yeah, I used to do this in 2020, before 24, till last year. I used to add this in Photoshop, but my problem was, if that sofa is showing you front elevation and the picture of the room is from side, and you don't have that angle on the website, you go to the showroom, you check if they have that in display, you take that picture. If nothing works, you go back to office, you model it, you tweak it, because that's a 2D flat image, right?
Yeah.
So those are the pain points. Push
really crucial points.
Yeah. I think I did not show you anything with Laura, right?
We only saw I think the LoRa loading process and like how we can just reach the LoRa models from the Switch AI, but I'm not so sure if I'm just like following through LoRa case.
Okay, so this is how LoRa works. Again, checkpoint your basic, you have positive, negative prompt, you have your render engine K-sampler, VAE, and save image. Latent image for the image size. Now this is where LoRa comes in. I simply prompted hand sketch of a modern house interior, lounge interior. Okay. My LoRa is downloaded from Civit AI, where they had a sketch look like model trained. So LoRa basically is a trained model. I did not put much effort on pushing myself to put lots of detail to the prompt, because I wanted any house to look like sketch. So no particular elevation section or anything. And here's the result. It's hand sketch done. So that's what LoRa does. So you want to guide your image generation to certain style of the presentation. If your studio is focusing all the detail presented in a form of hand sketch, this is where you must use LoRa to make your process more smoother and faster, because if you keep trying that with reference images and the prompt, it's not certain that every time you're going to get the exact result. So this is a strong use case of LoRa.
So use LoRa for the style references as we use in MidJourney srefs. We can train LoRa's in ComfyUI, also load LoRa's in the ComfyUI to support. We can initiate the LoRa, multiple LoRa in the same workflow. So it's so like everything is just under control, and I like it.
Yeah, this is the LoRa. I like the very modern minimalistic thing from Civit AI, and I think I downloaded that and just try. These are the deform, which will definitely appear because you did not put an effort over here. See, I did not write anything here. I should write deform, additional objects, do not clutter the space. The way you talk while you are designing and the way you think in your head while you are modeling everything, that's what you have to put in a proper structure and just have that organized and put it there in those boxes, and you will not get disappointed by the result for sure.
Okay, thank you, Krishna. I think it was just like a huge, like the workflow, like implemented us right now. We need some like time to just like kind of get started with the ComfyUI and learn the workflows. We would just like appreciate if you can just like share the link where you can just like access those workflows is fine for you. I would just like want to ask the community if anyone has any questions about like the general itself or about your like design process. How do you just like integrate it? And maybe we can just like have like the question and answer session till we just like sum up the meeting. But if you want to add something more or show some workflows as well, you can feel free to continue. I just need to interrupt because you were just like talking so passionately. I didn't want to just like stop you, but you might be tired as well. Like it's been almost like 2.5 hours.
No, this is a subject I could talk a whole night, guys. I don't get tired with this. All I want is to share this to as many designers as I could, because this is really powerful. I see people are sharing their work, but not sharing this the process behind it, and which nobody should feel insecure, because everyone will have different use case scenario. And then if the community is strong, maybe tomorrow, if I show you how to build that workflow, tomorrow you will bring me to solution. You know, hey, Krishna, look for this node, and this solves 2 more steps and make our process more easier. That's what we want to build at Umai, and I think I would be very happy to share every workflow. And now I know that we jumped, but I do have a list, and I can attach everything organized way, sketch to render, text to render. There are also workflow where it's image to image. There are workflow where multiple image comes up with, again, everything is under control and you get those elements picked by it. And as I said, it's long list of 18 very strong use case workflow. Yeah.
I'm thinking that like I'm just like loudly speaking. Maybe afterwards this session, since everyone just like gets comfortable with the ComfyUI interface, maybe we can have some sessions with you as well for some specific workflows that we can just like collaboratively use in the same workflow for one workshop series, so we understand better what it does. Maybe in later then we will just like send a link to our participants which workflow that more generally want to work on, so we can work more precisely on the task if you want to.
I would love to take some questions, guys. Ask. Please ask.
I have a question.
Sure.
Can you recommend some sources to learning more deeply this process?
Yeah. As I said, there are some platform where they just share and you can download, but again, learning requires lots of research and development. And we teach in more depth and detail at Umai. That's your go-to platform.
Okay, thank you.
Right, Celine?
Yeah, of course.
Actually, Krishna has some more modules that she's teaching, right, Krishna?
Yes, it's almost 12-hour workshop.
I mean, oh, you might as well share your own. You may share your own information if people would like to go further in this education. Please go ahead and share your links if you want.
Yeah, you can just promote
about your brand
Sure.
as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so I run I'm building a brand called AI Scapes. It's licensed company established in UAE for over 6 months now. And actually I ran a question on social media and within the community that if these are the workflow and you want to know from very core what you would like to do, have one-on-one session like workshops like this or a pre-recorded. Honestly, I got 78% people asking me to pre-record because when they heard 12 hours, I think it was not communicated well that it has to be break in a part, like you want to do thrice in a week, 2 hours. It was not structured that way. I started promoting it randomly, I would say. And therefore, then I had to push myself to record. So now on my website, which is not yet public, because I do have to put the structure and the requirement. I think someone asked me a good question about the system and stuff. So soon I can share Celine, and on the group she would, as soon I launch the website. I'm going back to Dubai tomorrow. So by 15th of December is what I'm really planning to launch a website like open to everyone, and you can register. It is in 2 sessions. Either you could get the pre-recorded 12 hours or the workshop where you have to stick with me for 3 weeks, and it is like 3 days in a week where we're gonna spend minimum a couple of hours. Yeah.
I have a question actually.
Sure.
Thank you for the meeting. It was very valuable. By the way, I know the many architects, they will interest these workshops. But my question is there a way to, sorry, my cam is not on. Is there any way to make renders more photorealistic without changing the design itself? That means changing the, there is a name, that was a name, photorealism and enhancer or something like that. I didn't remember.
Yes, there is photorealism. Yeah, that's another checkpoint. So that's what I'm saying. Once you know, all you have to do is Civit AI and just pick, let's say.
I don't know. Do we have a time to make any renders to make more photorealistic?
We could. Let's see if I download this, how long it would take. And always don't randomly, one advice to everyone, do not always just randomly download and try to install unless you go through this, because for this you should have SD15, and some of the members would really give you the very detail also of the settings inside ComfyUI. So they will also tell you, I'm just going back to my ComfyUI so I can show you practically. They will tell you what the sampler and scheduler should be, what the CFG and how many steps you have to follow to get what you see in their result. So always make sure not just to go for the photo and download, and then, because then you'll be disappointed because you won't get the result as they are claiming unless you follow
Yes.
the steps. Yeah. So because see, this is almost 2 GB. See how slow it is. It is still showing me 12 minutes 11. So if this gets download, we will simply try to drag drop this and see if this gives us a photorealistic. All this checkpoints again.
Are you sharing your screen right now, or we couldn't see any?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think everything stopped again. Oh, sorry. Now everyone can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
in a
so
minute.
we're showing. Yeah, look at all this. So see, this is 5.28 GB. So that's what I'm saying, that and it is still downloading. It shows 10 minutes. And then always also try to mention a camera name, because that also takes the render to a more realistic direction.
By the way, if it's going to take too much time, I don't want to disrupt the meeting. We can postpone to another meeting. It's not a problem for me. But I'm really curious about the making renders to more photorealistic.
Sure, I can. It's already 1:15 a.m. in India.
Yes.
What I will do is I will try to do this early morning, and again on group I'll share the workflow.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions for me? I would suggest everyone to stick with us on the group. Process this entire workshop. I think Celine could share the video links for them to recall everything one more time. And meanwhile, give me 2 days and I will be sharing all the workflow in one folder in more organized way. And let's sort everyone's installation problem first. Make sure that our checkpoints and everything matches, and then we can look into this into more detail for sure. I'm available for you guys.
Like, it's such a value that you share your all workflows that you developed yourself. Like, it's amazing.
Pleasure.
It's find this sources.
My pleasure.
So I initiated the WhatsApp group and sent some documentations that you forward to me in that group. And anybody has a question about any stage, like, can directly ask the questions from there as well. And we might have like a national one-to-one sessions if you need some additional help. But I assume we're all waiting for the workflows that the Krishna will just like share us. So thank you again for like the Umai family. And Nalo Hocam, Sadık Khan, I'm asking the Umar core, do you have anything to say to the Krishna?
Yeah, I mean, many thanks. And we would like to repeat a similar session from you. Sure. And when we move it further, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. This was more introductory. I would definitely like to go into detail one by one in more organized way.
I know many architects. I helped them.
So we heard that this was Khan found that what we suffered tonight is called Zoom bombing, and sorry for that, but this is the first time we're experiencing something like this.
It's totally understandable.
Yeah, sorry, Khan.
Sometimes it's no problem. No problem. Thank you for the meeting. It was a very valuable workshop. We should make a series of that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Krishna, so much for accepting our
Thank you so
invitation
much.
and coming. I'm really excited to watch the old recording and learn from it as well. I will ask my questions after that.
Sure.
And thank you for
I think
sharing all of
everyone-
this know-how.
Thank you so much. So far, I did not share much. It was just, a quick look. I should share everything within next 48 hours. Because this weekend, I think I would be relaxed when I'm in Dubai, and I have one more system there which has more data, so I'll be able to pull many things and share with you guys. I think everyone who started is with us throughout, right? And I really appreciate every one of you guys to have patience and your time to stick with us for so many hours.
I think we will. Okay. So,
By the way, we can add Krishna to our ComfyUI group.
Yeah, I'll send the link to her.
On the main group, we are talking Turkish, but in ComfyUI, we are trying to speak English for you.
Yeah, don't worry, Gizim, we have AI translator.
I've already, I think, sent the link to that WhatsApp group, Krishna, a while ago. You can just join that from that link on. I've already shared some of the documentation that you provided to me, but we will continue like question answering session from then.
Sure.
Okay, bye.
I'll take your leave. I think nobody wants to leave.
I think somebody needs to close the session, and I will be the bad cop here. So,
I can close the session. Thank you for all for joining today's meeting. There was a name of the situation. That name is Zoom bombing. It's happening sometime of the public workshops. But no worries, the workshop was very nice. So thank you for joining today. I am closing the meeting.
Thank you so much.
Have a nice day. Have a nice night.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you one more time.
Good night.
Zoom bombing. I love bombing duydum. Zoom bombing ilk defa duydum. Hala kayıtta bir şey.
Bir
kayıttayız
dakika.
galiba. Kaydı
Kayıt.
durduralım.
Kaydı durduralım.